So a couple of things from the competitive audit first. So in the Pakistan market, I'm not showing images from the Pakistan market because I didn't want to pick on any specific company or provider. But if anyone wants to actually talk about their own app, we're happy to give feedback as well. I'm showing you examples of these learnings from other markets, so no one feels targeted in any way. So the first thing was inconsistent use of icons. A lot of apps, and this is not particular only to Pakistan, this is in other markets as well, will have a set of icons they're using on their home screen and then not use those same icons throughout the app. So you imagine for especially a lower literate customer who's memorizing, okay, the send money icon looks like that. If she then can't find that same icon throughout the app, it's quite confusing. It's a bad user experience. So inconsistency in terms of use of icons was a big issue that we saw globally, but also in some of the apps here in Pakistan. A lot of apps globally, also in Pakistan, take the USSD menu and just kind of translate that into the smartphone app. The beauty of the smartphone platform is that we are no longer beholden to USSD. We don't need to restrict ourselves to this very cumbersome, unpleasant USSD list, right? I see a couple of people are like, yes, yes. So a lot of apps, because they're not thinking about all the opportunities that a smartphone platform offers, and because they're not doing human-centered design research, take the USSD menu and just turn it into a smartphone app. I know a few of you in the room at least maybe did this. That's okay. It's our first go at it, right? We think that this should not be our limitation. We don't need to think about USSD as the limitation. Most people over the next, let's say, 10 years are going to be moving to smartphones, maybe even 5 years. So better that we start the process of figuring out what should the smartphone menu look like for a mobile money app, rather than being stuck on this USSD architecture. Lack of focus, another really big one. When you get into a lot of home screens of smartphone mobile money apps, it's this like long list that they're scrolling through of all of the things that the mobile money app can do. Amazing that smartphone apps can, that mobile money services have so many options, right? So many different transactions, so many different things that you can do in your app. But if we're not focusing people's attention, what we see is what you're going to see in one of the findings, which is people just do the one service that they're used to doing, and they feel kind of overwhelmed by everything else. So we want to actually start to build in some focus and some architecting of choices and options for people. You guys have such rich data about what transactions customers use. Let's use that and start actually choosing the right options for customers, rather than just having this long list of potential services, yeah? The last thing, static home screens. So a lot of home screens aren't offering a lot of like helpful, useful, contextual information. It's just like, here are the services you can do. Click on a button or click on this link, yeah? The good, improved user experience smartphone apps actually provide a bit more personal information, a bit more interactive information. They feel a little bit more dynamic. We're going to show you in the wireframes what we mean by that. But know that this is, again, not particular to Pakistan alone. This is a global set of trends that we see. Some positive things. These did not come from the Pakistan market. These came from other apps in other markets, but that's okay. I think some of you are starting to build in these learnings, which is great. I'm going to just choose two of these that I think are relevant to our wireframes and the Pakistan market. So conversational tone. People are human beings, right? They speak, maybe we write very formally, but when people interact and talk, it's conversational, it's colloquial. A lot of apps use very formal, kind of full technical language or full sentences. Something that we're seeing, especially in North America and Europe, with a lot of the newer apps, they're taking a very kind of casual, conversational tone. It feels much more attainable and accessible, especially for new people to a mobile money service. So one recommendation might be, let's tone down the technical language and start strengthening how does your customer care person actually talk with a customer? Let's use that kind of language in the app itself. Another example, educational tips. This is especially true for new users to MFS, and also maybe lower literate, lower income users that you're trying to engage. Giving some educational tips, contextual information throughout the app at key points where they might get stuck or they might have something of a challenge can be very useful. And you'll see in our design, we tried to incorporate something of that. Big opportunity. You're going to hear us talk about it all day long, so I'm not going to talk about it right now, but just know in your minds that onboarding is critical, and I'm going to beat it home, hopefully today, that onboarding is this wonderful opportunity for all of you to engage customers, both new and existing. And the reason I'm skipping this is that you're all going to get this presentation, so don't worry about, this is not the only time you're going to see it. You'll have access to all of this. Okay, I'm actually going to keep moving forward. So here, balance and focus, use of visual cues and icons, contextual tips and education, and dynamic home screens. These are 4 of the key takeaways from the competitive audit research that we did. And again, if you're interested in seeing the detailed competitive audit, all of that is made available by Karandaaz. From our stakeholder interviews, 4 things came out. So this is now very particular to the Pakistani market. Our stakeholder interviews on this project were only with you guys and some other providers from Pakistan. So this is very contextual, not global. Visual language, obviously super important, especially for lower literate, lower income customers, but really for anyone. I mean, I'm pretty literate. I want visual, dynamic, interesting apps. I don't want just a bunch of words on my screen, right? So what should those icons be? What should the style guide be? So we heard from all of you that you really wanted recommendations for what those icons for those key transactions should be. We heard you, and I think you'll see that we came up with something pretty interesting. Transaction optimization. What are the right flows for key transactions? What should the screens be? How many jumps? How many click-throughs? Where should I be able to get from anywhere within the app? We spent a lot of time thinking about that. I think you'll see some streamlined transaction flows in our wireframes. Design pattern library. This is really critical because, again, a lot of you in the room already have apps either in development or in the market. We are not suggesting that you need to take this full set of wireframes and use it as one big app in your app. We're not suggesting that you have to just adopt everything we're saying. What we are sharing with you are going to be a set of wireframes, but also what we call a design pattern library. So sets of icons, transaction flows. You can take and adapt any piece of this into your own app. So you can take, if you like one icon that you see today, great, you can take that one icon. If you like the full set of flows, fantastic, you can also take that. So this is really a kind of a piecemeal opportunity for you to adopt and implement based on your organization's needs. That word onboarding again. We did hear from all of you as well that onboarding was a challenge, especially for new users, and authentication was an area of concern. So we took that into consideration. You'll see that in our recommendations as well. Okay, so I'm going to get into the insights and the findings from the user research. So again, users for us included customers, non-customers, existing customers, former customers, potential customers, you name it, as well as agents. So these findings actually represent all of the interviews that we did with those individuals. What's a little bit different about our research, we focus on in-depth interviews. So we care about depth, not breadth. So this is not market research. This is like 90 to 120 minute interviews with single individuals alone, not focus groups. We really care about understanding people's financial behaviors, their preferences, their desires, their aspirations, what they think will work and not work. And again, we see them as co-designers in this process. Not just sort of us extracting information from them, but what do they actually want to see and can they help us design the solution? We do that through participatory activities. Again, the activities, some of the cards and activities are on that back table if you're interested in seeing. And then for us, the expert interviews were those agent interviews. We see agents as experts, right? They're expert mobile money users, typically. Not all of them, but they're kind of super users. What do they know that could help us in designing the app? Especially as they are like your frontline staff, essentially, right? So critical. Okay, woo. So, first thing, and again, I'm just gonna touch on a few of these because you'll have access to all of them, and I know some of you have already seen these findings, but just to refresh our memories. Mobile money, you guys have so many different services and potential transactions that people can do, right? There's a whole list of things. I was in the Telenor, the EasyPace offices last time I was here, and you guys have this like amazing poster of like, I don't know, it felt like 20 or 30 services, I'm not even sure. So there's all these different things. Most people though are using mobile money for what? Sending money or receiving money. So most people are kind of stuck on like one transaction. Maybe they top up airtime, maybe they're paying a bill, but most customers, the data shows that most customers are using mobile money for like one, maybe two services. But we know that there's like 10, 20 services that they could be doing. How do we get people to move beyond just that initial service that they use mobile money for? Mobile money will only be profitable and scalable if people are using it consistently and regularly over time and using it for multiple things. So one of the findings was most customers are not like exploring in the app or in the USSD for that matter, even less so, beyond that initial service that they joined for. So if I join because I have an auntie who lives in Lahore and I need to send her money, it's very rare that I then go just like exploring in the app to figure out other things I can do with the mobile money. I think of mobile money as like the thing I use to send my auntie money. So we need to figure out as designers, and I consider all of us in this room designers now, how can we actually make other uses and services of mobile money more salient or more obvious, more top of mind for people? How do we highlight the other uses of mobile money in a way that's not marketing necessarily, but it's helpful, it's contextual, it's productive? And how can we help customers identify other potential uses of mobile money for themselves? Those were some of our, what we call our opportunity statements or our design opportunities.